This would be the first start for this to happen. So you need to go here, make sure you have an account. I'm using my West Liberty University account. So the next thing is, once you're here, you want to create a project. So I've already have a project created here. So if you wanted to click on a new project, you would do new project. And you have 30 projects remaining in your quota. All right, so I'll create a new project, and I would call my project, I'll say my first API. You call it whatever. You'll want to have an organization and a location. So I'm doing West Liberty, even though this is Point Park, but that's what I have in place. Not a problem. If I wanted to create one, I could create one, but I'm signed into my West Liberty account, and that's why. So I don't have a Point Park account. So click create, and you could do your own personal email address, so that's not a problem. I'm not too concerned about that. So it's creating my project. Perfect. So it's created my project. Perfect. So now you have like this little dashboard here. Has my API, has my API ID and information. So I'll go to dashboard for activity. So what we're going to need here is we're going to need credentials so that you get an API key. You don't want to keep that API secret. So let's see here, APIs. Want to get out of here. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you could do here, but that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get into my API activity. It's taking forever to load. You're to this page right here. You can click on credentials. Make sure you're in your library. All right. You'll then want to do is create credentials, and you want to click on API key. Now you're creating a key. Now this key right here is very sacred. You want to copy this key and save it somewhere. Now this is a learning tutorial video, so I don't care if you see my key. But for most part, we don't want to click restrict key. We just want to copy that, and you want to save that somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to go to my one that I was working on. Was this PPA? I think it was this one. What's today's date? Yeah. What was it? All right. So anyways, so you want to grab that information and have that information stored. Okay. So then let me open up Atom. So I now have Atom open up. I'm going to create a folder somewhere so that I could use that folder. So let me create a folder. Documents 262. Let's create a folder. Call it API. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to go to my API. Or my folder, sorry, documents, development, API, and hit open. All right, so I can write some code in here. All right, so I'm gonna click a new file, and this file is gonna just call it index. You know what? We'll call it by lesson or by lab. So I'll call it lab1.html, and we'll change it as we go. Okay, pretty straightforward. All right. So we need to do some HTML. So HTML heading. I don't think I can increase in here. Yeah, I can. So I'm increasing it so you can at least see what I'm doing. So I'll do title, and I'll call it jQuery API. So what we're trying to do here is we want to. Let me actually show you what we want to accomplish at the end of the day, so it makes more sense before I show you. So let me find here. So let me open up a page with my information. And so at least I can show you a working model. All right, so this is what we're trying to accomplish. So we'll have an API, What do you want to find? So what we're doing is we're using an API that connects to YouTube, and the lesson of this is to capture something that we want to search on. So for example, let's do this real quick. So let's go to YouTube and let's do a search on Pittsburgh Pirates. Perfect, right? Oh my God, if I could spell right. Let's do this. Let's change it up. Point Park University. Perfect. All right, so what it does is it pulls up a bunch of videos. So what we'll do here is I'll type in Point Park University and hit search. And what it does is it pulls up the same, well, it looks like it's the same videos. It skipped that one right there and went to that one. But as you see here, it pulls up the videos. What the heck is that? Now, in this code, we don't have it where you could click on it, but the concept is to create a way to pull up, and we don't have the next, yeah, you can hit next and go, but we want to just be able to pull up information. That's the concept, okay? So that's what we're trying to accomplish here in this code. So let's get started. So we have the API, and then we're going to do the body. All right, I'll do a heading, and I'll call it my PPU API, and we'll do an input, and we'll do type equals button, and in our value we'll put value equals search, and then our ID equals, I don't know, search button, and like that. Okay. Back. Hopefully you can hear me. I have some music jamming in the background. We'll make this go better. Alright, so we have input. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'll actually copy this, and I'll make sure that this is available for you guys as well. Because you can copy in your other code. Because I don't want to have to type that in. That's too long to type in. Alright, so we have our script. And I'll come down here and I'll do beginning of a new script. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a little script here. We're going to do a document. And then do .ready function. And let's see here, we have that. And we need to do a brace here. Let me save this while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, replace it. All right. So we have script, document. We have $, and then we're going to do a search button. So we're using the pound hashtag search button because that's how we're going to access it. And we're going to do a .click. So what we're going to do is have the button programmed so that when the button's clicked, it picks up that ID, and then it could do something. Okay. All right. Then we'll do search YouTube. There we go. And all right, cool. Let's see here. What's me missing? All right, so I'm going to just build the rest of my script here because it's doesn't look like I'm building anything. And then I'll do my body. Now this first part that we're working on is we're just going to debug it and see how it works at first. Okay. So now we have the search YouTube built right here, and this right here is going to call our function. So now we need to build our function. So we come down here and do function search YouTube, that's what we called it, and then we'll do this, and then we'll use a console. So what we want to do is we use the console in the developer mode. So we'll do clicked, exit the click, oops, do this here. All right, there we go. And now we're going to make an Ajax call, and we'll talk about Ajax a little bit. And in Ajax here, we're going to put a URL, and we'll get that URL in a minute here. We need to have a data type. So what's interesting here is when dealing with APIs, you have two different APIs. You have a WSDL or a RESTful. We're calling a RESTful connection, and what we want to do is we want to pull back the information using JSON. So what I'm going to do here is do JSON and comma, because we want to head on down, and then we want to put type. And what type is it? It's a get, because we're trying to get something. All right, and now we need data, and we need to have a key, which we'll insert the key in a minute here, a comma. We need to have a Q, which is what we're going to search on. So its Q is for query, so we'll put Point Park University. Perfect. And then we need a part. Part is going to be a snippet of something, because we don't want everything. We want to bring the house down, basically. URL, I'm going to give you guys this, but we could type this in as well. So we're going to call the Google API. Oops, we need this here. HTTPS googleapis.com/YouTube/version3/search. All right, perfect. And we'll put a comma here. So we have JSON, we have get, and we have, now we need to, this is where you want to paste in your key. So I'm going to grab my key from my previous code I did before. And you want to grab the key that you copied. So now I'm going to do this right here and paste. Oh, you know what? I left one very important part out. When you do have your code set up, like we've already did our API, you want to make sure that you enable your API. Okay, so in your credential area, dashboard area, I just thought about this while I'm doing this. You'll want to click this button right here. That will enable your API. If not, then it won't work. So just an FYI on that. I'm thinking about it. I seen it when I was coming down to this code here. All right, so we have snippet, Point Park University. I think we're almost done. So we have snippet. We have this right here. All right, so now we're going to do .done. We're going to do function data, and we'll do this, and we'll do console.log, and then we'll log the data, which will just connect to Google. And I think that's it. We have the script, body, HTML, yeah. All right, so I'm going to save that. And now what I'm going to do is make sure you did all that. I'm going to open up that file. All right, where's that at? All right, so here's API Lab 1. All right, so it looks like it does nothing, which is fine. So what you want to do is make sure you're in your developer mode. You can go up. You want to hit F12, you can do that, and then you want to make sure you hit search. I don't know why I have this stupid thing here. What the heck is going on? For some reason my screen is really small. I'm not sure why. It's like in some format here. I don't want it like that. That's not what I want. I want responsive, but it's being. Let's do. It's still not working. All right, so click on search, and there's an error message. What is going on here? All right, it's because I can't catch it. What is going on here? Sorry. Oh, console. Read function. Can't read function. Why is it not reading it? Alright, I see what I did. So if I click on this again and I do F12, it blows up. So there's some type of function in there. So looking at it, I have red and it's supposed to be ready. So that's my stupidity. So I will now save that. I will close this so I can see what the heck I'm doing. I'll refresh it, click the search button, hit F12 for DevTools, go into console, hit object. Now you can see something here. You have items, which are so it's using, let me make this bigger. So as you see here, we have items or your index, you have 0. So those are searches it did. And so it has usearch has e-tag, has the ID, the channel ID, the search result, the snippet, which has the date, the channel ID, the title, Point Park University, found in 1960. So that's our first one, which would have been that one right there. So you found in 1960. So the API is pulling that information up. So now we go into our value number 1, which is the same thing. It's pulling up the channel ID. API is reading at the Point Park University with downtown. So it's skipping this one and doing this one at Point Park University. People are dancing. All right, so API is doing that information. So it's using the token, capturing the information. This is good. So this is what we want. So this is the initial aspect of it. This right here tells us a couple things. It tells us that our code is working. So this is one way that you could do it. Another way is you could use, there's a bunch of different tools, and we'll talk about in class, that you can use to test your API to make sure it works. But this right here is pretty good. Google provides, so you can at least get an idea. So this is the first video. So at least this is step 1, and we'll continue on with the next video on writing the rest of this code to make this work. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.